Alright guys, so asked it for a bit more of a Q&A. Had a few good ones come through. Actually, that many. We're probably going to stock take a few for next time, which is good. But we'll ask again because we love the fresh, and this helps spark more conversation and gives us ideas on other videos to do, things to address and speak about later. Alright, so let's get us started. What's the first one we got, Em?
We've got biggest mistake for enhanced athletes.
So, biggest mistake for PED users, I'll take this one. Commonly talked about, and obviously we see it, is more is better. No, just no. You're going to take way too, if you're going to take too much stuff, grams of stuff, we see gym bros taking more than the pros, right? But if you're increasing and taking all this extra stuff, you're also getting all these side effects. And then you've got to start taking stuff to do the side effects. You want to start running a gram of testosterone? Why? You're going to promote way too much estrogen. Then you've got to take an AI or a serum or something along that nature. And then you're going to crush your estrogen. Now, the whole thing of crushing your estrogen, have a look at our other videos I put up. I briefly touched on this, about how important estrogen is, especially for males too. You're going to crush your estrogen, let alone the other health factors. You're going to downregulate your IGF-1 receptor, which is your insulin-like growth factor. And that's going to tell your body how much muscle to put in obviously the response to do it to. So doesn't that kind of be like counterproductive? You're taking all this stuff to put on all this muscle, and then you're taking all this stuff to tell you not to take all this muscle, let alone all the health risks it's about. I'm a big one for less is more. I'm in this for the longevity. I want my competitors to be in this for the longevity, but I want everyone to be in this for longevity, health and wellness. Like we're pushing sports and bodies to the extreme, natural or enhanced. Like you're getting down this lean or you're pushing this much weight. Either one's an extreme, but you need to be healthy and you want to do this for longer. So that's the biggest one I see. What next?
Most underrated leg exercise for growth.
Oh, do you want to start off? What did you find helped you out the most?
I think my kettlebell sumo deadlifts have been the most beneficial for my leg growth.
Yeah, I just think that's safe to say.
I find that it's very controlling. I can definitely get my time under tension. Like I'm constantly going down nice and slow and then coming back up. But it's the fact that in that moment of when I've come back up, I squeeze through my glutes, my hammies. Yeah.
So we'll do. So Emma has a glute and hammy specific day when I have a chest day. We'll actually get that filmed up because like that's a good one to be able to see. And like Em's saying, there, she was doing for dumbbells quite some time because she can go a lot heavier. But found with the kettlebell, it's probably the best for hand position, and still getting like the 38 to 42 kg marks in the kettlebells here and there. But it's the fact of she's able to go a lot wider stance and put a lot more pressure, well, keep a lot more in the inductors and abductors there. And you really feel it inside. And then as she comes up, it's not just the powerlifting movement of doing a sumo and bang, hip lock out. As she comes up and you come up, you drive through with your ass and squeeze it at the same time. Honestly, I want to be able to see your pants suck into your ass. You're squeezing that tight. But that one really helps you a lot. And honestly, it gives you that lift. Like
the perkiness that every woman wants.
It does,
you know?
without being a great deal of systemic fatigue on your central nervous system, of lifting stupid amounts of weight.
Like, it makes me feel good afterwards. Like, it doesn't actually hurt. Like, there are a lot of exercises that I found, like, afterwards I feel sore.
Yeah.
I find it does not make me sore. It makes my legs tired, but not sore. And that's the part where I find, you know, that's where I've made my gains. That's the fatigue in the muscle that you need.
Yeah, it seems to be good overall exercise for the time under tension, so you're going to get that stimulus, but also a lot of the sculpting effects. So it's good all-round exercise. I'm going to say most underrated in general. Look, if someone told me I have 10-15 minutes to get legs done, don't enjoy doing legs, I don't want to do legs but I know I need to, or you're even a physique competitor, which I've got a couple of physique competitors that actually do these particular exercises, and this is a good one for just lifestyle, because you go to any gym, you're going to bang it out. It's a matter of leg press. How simple is that? Leg press. It's not just leg press, it's once you get your warm-up sets and your working weights, different foot variations, up high, narrow, wide, down, narrow, wide, single leg, outer leg, toes to the ankles, and you can essentially hit your quads, all head of your quads, your hammies, and your glute tie-ins with that. So it's hard to say that that's underrated because it's such a widely used piece of equipment, but I feel like it's very used for the wrong appropriate. Everyone's like, yeah, stack it on, we'll put some more bands. Look how much I'm doing everything. I got my bros sitting on top. Be like, that's probably not the best way to go about it. Like, yeah, cool, good bragging rights, and you will build some form of size doing that. There's no mistake to that. But as like a all-in-one, it's obviously going to be good. I'm going to say, oh look, toes position. This is not a one exercise, but how you position your feet and your toes. This is something I got M into, which I just got into from my powerlifting days, was just angling your toes ever so slightly out, which will help obviously with hip flexors and pelvic floor as well. But the most underrated exercise, I'd say, wouldn't be an exercise. I'd say it's how the exercises are performed. Now, if I ask you to, what's probably one of the most effective ways to build lean tissue or increase the blood flow or myostatin, you're going to say, like, it's going to be something like time under tension. Yeah, time under tension times load, things like of that nature. So what makes legs any different? If you're going to do a row, you're not. If you see someone there and they're throwing it, you're going to be like, bro, what are you doing? Or they're doing bench press, banging it off the chest. It's no different. You're going to be like, look, man, bring it down slow, touch, go. Why would your squats be any different? What benefit are you getting out from bouncing out of the hole and coming up? Cool, we can throw a couple extra plates on, do that. Go wreck your knees, whatever. But time under tension, like, and this is the same thing with our box squats. We do, and we lock the box squats into the Smith machine. One, it locks in that angle. Two, look, you can't get it up. It's a matter of, you're going to touch the box, you're going to roll it, rack it, get out. But it's with your box squats. It's not. We're not going down and pausing for 3, and then going. It's down, touch, go, touch, go. Leg extensions and leg curls, same thing. I'm not getting that lockout. My athletes, you know exactly what I'm on about. So one particular exercise, it's probably more as how they perform, honestly. What else?
We've got, what's the one fitness myth that makes you roll your eyes?
Alright, you go. I already know what you're going to say. Go on.
Yeah, hip thrusters.
Yeah, okay. Hip thrusters are very useful. There's no denying that. Like, every wellness model out there will tell you. Yeah, M does them. Like, I've done them and I will do them again. I think it's how they're done or why they're done. There's this factor that, like, you have to do them to get the ass. But, like, and this is how I put it to you like this. Like, M does her hip thrusters, and she might do it if we don't have the use of the belted machine. We'll do it like with a dumbbell, so the pads are actually not sitting across the pelvic or the lady bits. And then we'll have like a band on there outside of a knee to keep the tension and the flex up. Because I ask you this, what benefit is there to throwing 200 kg on the bar, having it sit across all these organs, connective tissue? It's not like, yeah, you're trying to do your glutes, but all that pressure is now on, well, all the parts that are like ligaments, tendons, well, not tendons, but ligaments, joints, cartilage, connective tissue, things that aren't made to be under that sort of load. And it's the fact of, you're doing that, you've got 200 kgs on the bar to hit 5 reps, 10 reps maybe if you're really smashing it out of your hip thrusters, but you're getting under the squat rack with a plate aside, I think you're probably doing it wrong. Like, hip thrusters are very good, but they should be an accessory. As you'll see in a video I'm going to put up later when we were doing hip thrusters and at Stadium Fitness there with Mike, we talked about it. Hip thrusters were actually for for powerlifters, sorry, to perfect that last percentage of that movement, which is the lockout. Ain't no powerlifter got on stage went, damn, I need me a booty. No, but it's actually, we've tried it and we've changed it and how to go. It's very beneficial, but it's how it's used. It should not be the core base of your leg workout, let's say that in, but it should be added in. It's just how it's being misused. And I think mine is just going to be as I touched a couple of questions above, the PED use, the more is better thing. That's just, look, I love getting clients that I've got to go back to square one, get your blood work, let's go again. Which I think is also hard to get them on that particular page that I need to go backwards to go forwards. But that's one of those things that makes me roll my eyes and just think like there's a better way to do this. Even if you're some of these people that are in it like, oh, I'm just in it for looks. Why not be in it for looks for longer? That's the way I look at it. Like, if you're not doing this for health and wellness, which you should be, but cool, I'm doing it for the gram. You're doing it for the gram for how many years? Why don't you do it for the gram and your children's gram and then your grandkids' gram? Like, you want to be that dad when you be like, is that your grandfather? Is that your grandma? No way. Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, moving on. I go on a tangent. Sorry.
How often would you incorporate drop sets?
I'd probably ask, why are you doing the drop set? This is kind of the way I like to work, is you're going to do your pre-movement, so that'll be your setting up, your warm-ups, any banded work to get into your actual set. Then you're going to do your load, which is your working sets, and then it'll be into your volumization and your pump per se, and that's probably where the drop sets will fall into. But that being said, I'd rather you get another set or another rep of that particular exercise than a drop set. But there are two exact cases where I do like seeing them used. One's going to be if you're on a time restraint and you still need to get in that percentage of load and reps. And the other is if you're repping out hard, let's just say a bent over row. That's a very good example to do. If you're doing a bent over row, barbell, dumbbell, either way, and you're starting to more throw it and you're feeling it more in your back or your lockout, something like that, I'd rather you than having to throw it down and call it quits or continue and injuring yourself, put it down, grab a lighter weight so you can secure your core and keep that posture in a great structural position to just lock in and go. Other than that, it'll be a very good way to break down muscle fibers, which in turn burning more calories, because it's just like doing a superset. You're having less reps, it's more time under load in that aspect. So if you're going to do that, be good to do that. Now you'll find a lot of people do this in prep. I do as well, to get the workout in, get the burn going. But you got to remember though too, if you're not feeding and recovering, you're in potential of doing more damage than anything. Like, it's not something that I'd be doing a particular drop set on that so many times. Like, if we have a drop set, and we do, I think we've even got a video coming out where we're doing a drop set, but it's like our last couple sets, and it's usually more a pump, isolated workout or something of that sort. So hope that helps there. If not, DM me more. What else?
We got best exercise for hip mobility.
That's a good one. So like we touched on, look, I'm going to probably go off on a tangent and do a video on this one day, and this is a good example why we like doing the Q&As. So it'll give us something to do. Like I'll get Em to run through her routine and how she goes, and then how to go about it, and I'll give a bit more of an intel. But to give you a rough breakdown of how to go, best exercise. But let's say what I'd like you to do first would be go and just get some blood flow, get the heat, and I mean this is as simple as going on the treadmill for a walk or parking a little bit further away and walking, putting on a slight incline. I mean slight, like 2 degrees, 4 degrees, and just on a pace it's like 4 to 5k per hour, very slow, 10 minutes if that, enough that you can be sitting there hitting like, leaving comments on my YouTube channel, but it's just a matter of getting that blood flow, getting your entirety warm, and then from there you're going to move off into doing some form of static stretches. Now you do one where you kind of like sit on the edge of the bed or the step and you cross your legs, don't you?
And I pull my leg up and, stretch it.
Yeah, and stretch it and hold it for what, 20?
About 20, yeah.
About 20, then a bit more pressure.
Bit more,
and then
until the point where I feel that I'm starting to get looser.
Which, yeah, tends to be about, you do it 2 or 3 times depending. And then swap legs. I do one there where I pretty well lay flat on the floor, arms spread out like a crucifix. I bring my knee right up, I go over to my on side, and then I throw it across to my other side. And this is usually where you hear me snap, crackle, and pop, or all the old man things going on. But no, this is actually really good. I do have a few lower back issues that I'll forever be addressing. Just leave it at that. But then from there, once I feel that tighten up a bit, like Em will go and actually put a little bit more pressure, and I'll swap sides and do that for about a minute. So we're going to call that our pre, and then we're going to move into some form of exercise per se, which will be like to a mountain climber. For those that don't know mountain climbers, it's like you get in the push-up position and you're going to bring your right knee to your left hand and then your left back down again and your left knee up to you. So you almost be going this way, and so on and so forth.
It's basically a cross.
Yeah, basically a cross. And then the other one will be like your crab walks, which is your side lunges, if you want to call that. And then going into like a banded version of that, and that's very good for your hip flexors and that. And then from there, in the way of like specific exercise, I think we pretty well touched on a lot of this before. It's like how you word out you keep those little bit of an angle on your toes there, and that's going to keep a lot in your with your pressing movements, your squats, your leg press, even leg extensions, and that's going to help a lot. Pelvic floor, and your hip flexors are like, and you'll hear me rant on about hip flexors a lot because they are so viable to so many exercises, so many general day movements, and just structural. And what else in the way of that? But if I was to give you like one particular exercise, like just exercise in general, it would be lunge, because the lunges you can do in many different forms. Do a static lunge, and then you can put your opposing foot up, technically now a split squat, or you can lunge forward, lunge back. You can do a walk through lunge. Let's continue lunging. Or as you lunge one foot about 30 centimeters off, straight, bring this foot in, 30 centimeters off, and like that. And that's a great one for your, but with this, I've seen a lot of other exercises done to strengthen hip flexors. You just got to remember, it's connective tissue. It is not a major muscle. It does not get the same blood flow, so don't be putting it under the same sort of tension and load. I would never ask a client to do some form of rotational exercise for hip flexors. I mean rotational under load. Like, you're not going to do a pivot squat. No. You just... But hopefully that touches on, and I will do a bit more of a tangent video on that, because I do feel that is a really good question, and that's something that really needs to go a bit more in depth on.
That's a longevity thing.
That is very good. That is a longevity one. What else we got?
What's a good snack for early training? 30 minutes pre.
Ooh. So I'm probably going to let Em take this one, because I'm fairly regimented on my meals. Like, I'll even take, if we're traveling and things, I'll even take like microwave rice, canned pineapple, and I can always get whether chicken or salmon. But so with its, what does it say, 30 minutes pre. So 30 minutes obviously going to be pretty fast acting. So it's any form of the carbohydrate that's going to be fast acting. And snack, as I've said here, snack wise, it's going to be things like rice cakes as a basis of one, with, like, honestly, a bit of honey. But being 30 minutes, you want to stay away from a fat content. You want it super fast acting. I'm going to throw this out there. Fruit. Now, Em, I'll let you take it from here, what you do.
So obviously, for example, being up at work, it is really hard to prep that kind of thing and get fruit that, you know, is actually right.
Well, it's consistency too, because what we do here is actually what we do at home.
Yeah. So I actually have it right here. Is I have the Rafferty's Gardens fruit pouches.
Tell them where you find it. Whereabouts in Coles and Woolies do you find it?
You will find these in the baby section. So these are just fruit puree, nothing else.
Yeah.
So you'll find that there's probably about just 15 grams of sugar, and
like
that's just fructose sugar. It's not bad.
Rubbish.
Yeah. it's usable sugar.
Yeah. So like Em said there, and I'll bring it in so you can actually see. Because it's baby food, like, it's no rubbish. Now, if you can see this, nothing else. I mean, nothing else. Yes, 4 months, or technically 12 times 24. I don't know. Old enough. Couple hundred months. But like, you should be able to flip over to the back, and if you can read in the ingredients and it says anything less than 90% fruit, or in the ingredients it says sugar or dextrose, you don't want it. The fact of, like, we have a couple different ones that we variate between for just Em likes a bit of variety in the taste and that, but
I'll always get something with apple.
Yeah, because apple, and I did touch on this on my earlier videos there with controlling hormones and apple and creatine based stuff, so Em always gets that.
And this one, the blueberries, banana and apple, that's my favourite. I highly recommend this one. It tastes amazing. It's
like Em said, it's 15 grams. But keep in mind, like, she's also, we're not going to, like, if we were fasted and woke up, there'd probably be a little bit more in there. And the times that we're going in for a quick workout, early morning or coming off of a night shift or something, and we'll have that in. But you'll also have an essential amino acid, not to be mistaken for BCAAs, EAAs. So essential amino, so your body's actually, it's a full, complete protein that your body's going to digest there, and it gives you a bit of something to break down, stop your body from going catabolic and burning the muscle that you're so trying to gain.
And I think I have that with, about 200 or 300 ml water?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Even for the likes of, we'll usually get something pretty bland flavoured with that, because like, if Em, like we said, did night shift, she'll probably throw her 7 more reps freaking, well, what do we got? We got Cruise Blend up here, but usually like one scoop of the Insane Blend. But it's because, like, being the lemonade flavour, it really doesn't taste like much. Honestly, I don't.
It's very pleasant, actually.
I don't personally like the lemonade flavour by itself. I just think it tastes like powder, but it adds in really good with everything.
It's a good filler, essentially.
Yeah, it is. Like, for something that you're getting 10 grams of essential amino acids, and you're like, so you got 10 grams there of essential amino acids from protein, and then you've got another 15 to 20 by a fructose fast acting. So that's probably our best case scenario, would be even just grabbing some fruit. Honestly, you're on the go, you can't have that as an option, but you still really want to get a train and perform and fight away any fatigue. Duck into, look, even service stations, and get a fruit juice. I don't mean go to Boost and get the concentrated fruit juice, but if you get something in there that's going to be, like I said, almost with this, like a 90% fruit juice, look, you can almost guarantee you're going to get an apple or an orange. Orange would still be a very good option. Juice Bros, Two Brothers, whatever, I'm not real sure. They do some.
Sure, it's Juice Brothers.
Look, and I know there is a bunch more of the little smoothie ones coming out as of late, but you want at least 90% straight fruit. So, like, in something that's that size, realistically, depending on what you're doing and obviously how exerting you want to be. If it's just a snack to get in, I'd probably be looking at least like 20 grams of fast acting carbs and that sort of way. Yeah. What else you got?
We got, what's your favourite muscle groups to train and why?
Do you have a favourite muscle group?
No, I actually don't. I actually enjoy working out. I enjoy every part of it.
It's a typical Emma answer.
Oh,
But okay. What about exercise? What would be your favourite exercise?
I've picked one. I've got two.
Alright.
I actually really enjoy doing my box squats. I find that I can get a really good mind muscle connection. The control, it's the fact that it's up, down,
like we were saying,
straight up.
it's like we were saying before. You lock in. It gives you
I'm a lot less likely to hurt myself.
I know why you like.
I get my power.
Yeah, because that slight angle allows you to throw your feet a little bit further out and get fully quad dominant. And like you said, it's just the fact of it's a mind, you can switch off it's going to fold me in half, or what happens if I can't get it all the way up? I sit down and I roll the bar and then I walk out.
Mm-hmm.
I know why you like doing it though, because you do more than the boys. That's why.
Yeah.
Anyway, what's the second one?
I'm probably gonna get stuff for this, but I actually enjoy doing my assisted chin-ups. So I'm not quite strong enough to do it by myself yet.
On the dip machine.
On the the assisted dip machine, or the assisted chin-ups.
Well, okay.
I find that it's very not easy, but it's easier to get past that pinch point that gets you stuck and you're trying to get up there. I find it gets me past that point and I can get that muscle connection.
You get good mechanical tension. And this is something like the hypertrophy coach would touch on there too. It's not just, and I do struggle with, and you see with me, I do touch this in a couple of videos. I tend to use a lot more isolated movements, which is, there's no secret to it. It's just, I don't quite have the same rotation with a lot of joints that some people have, or I'd even like. Now, if I'm doing pull downs in the straight bar, I've got to go pretty wide for how broad I am, which is like it's wider than what I should be, but it's the simple fact is otherwise I can't really pull through too much. But with that particular thing, I like the different variations. So which grip do you prefer? Because you got the wide that has the slide, or you have like the close, or you kind of like the
I like the
supinated.
The supinated. That's where I find I can really pull and get up there.
Probably and that's a good. We do that on our pull day. Not so much our lat insertion, but like on the day that we do a pull day. On our pull days, we do tend to hit like a few more grips. It'll be like a little bit more bicep intensive, I guess, than others.
I just like it. I think that gives me a good workout without the pain, there are times when you get that pain.
The thing I think with that though too, you'll see and we're all guilty of it, especially if you don't have a spotter there. It's you'll go and you got too heavy on a pull down, and you'll find yourself throwing yourself back to get under it. But if you've got the pad under your knees, it's still it's just a reminder to stay in that position, as well as getting past the pinch point.
So sometimes that's all you need.
So what was the favourite? Sorry, I went off on a tangent. What was the actual question? It was, what's your favourite muscle group? So yours is not so much a group, but particular exercise. I'm going to say muscle group to train. I'm going to say probably back, just because I'd get a really good connection.
You've got a really good back.
And I think a lot of this came from powerlifting accessory work there. I've always been able to, for those that don't know, when I was a bigger lad, and I mean 34 kgs heavier than what I am now, I had a 308 deadlift, conventional deadlift. So I was still being able to bent over row 200, but I can still do 140 for some pretty solid sets there. But it's not even so much that now. I tend to go to like the dumbbells now, and probably even just a little bit lighter, the 40s and 50s. Get good through. I enjoy working out back for that reason, is that I can throw a bit of weight with keeping a good form, but I get a pretty good connection.
You don't have the sacrifice of the posture or... Yeah.
Oh, little something random. The one I don't like training is arms. Bores the shit out of me. But I don't have a very good short head bicep. I've always had very strong triceps just because... There you go. I actually never did biceps or triceps for 3 years while powerlifting. But I always had like a very thick arm from the side, but that was from just grip strength with my rows and different variations, and just the only form of shoulder movement I did was overhead press. So I'd be like flat bench, overhead press, and then an incline bench for a deload. So that was my tricep workout. Was just, if I wanted more tricep at the time, I probably didn't know it, but it was just a closer grip bench.
Okay. What are both of your short-term and long-term goals?
Alright, short term. You go. You know what your short terms are.
Short-term, for the moment, I want to get on stage for the first time this year. So that's my short-term. I mean, it would be awesome if it leads to getting my pro card, but that's also in the short term, you know.
It's also part of a long term, yeah.
Part of a long term. That leads into wanting to have healthier and longer life. It's the health and wellness of the part of it. I want to be able to be like Brody's grandma, who's in her late 80s, jumping on a scooter, riding
60.
around
I'm going to say you're 60, grandma. That's...
She looks it. That's the thing, is I want to be like her. You know, like, that's kind of the role model of...
Never lifted a weight in her life. Well, never lifted a dumbbell in her life, but she's always been super active.
Yeah, and she's stayed healthy. You know, she's always had that healthier diet. And the fact is, yeah, like, she can jump on the
Whole
scooter.
foods. Just,
exactly.
She's not one to eat the processed stuff. But no, I can remember being a kid, and like, we always used to go picnics and that, or even when we used to go out fishing off Bribey and off the island and that, it was always we'd take full foods.
So yeah, that's my long term, is I want to be like Brody's grandma.
Short term, it's hard to say like short term for myself, because I have a lot of short term goals, but none that really relate to, like, they're me, but they're not a personal goal for me. Like, one's going to be, I've got 3 clients for this IFBB show. Short term, sponsoring this IFBB show, hoping to push us into a little bit of a higher class range kind of thing, like hoping to get a little bit more notoriety in that way.
You're good at what you do.
Short terms, obviously, the clients I do have to help them grow, be better, and make a step forward. Short term, obviously, off season. Well, it's not. I don't have a freaking off season. I just have a non-competitive season. But like, I vowed last year when I stepped off stage that this year was for Emma. So that's that there, and then obviously short terms to grow the business further, but not just the business. It's like to grow. I'm actually talking with a couple guys down there. Matty from MK Fit. Do get on IG, follow them. He's throwing out some great content right now. It's very informative, and along with the lifestyle side of things as well.
And just a friendly dude.
Yeah, just a great dude to talk to. But on that aspect, like, very good talks. We're trying to like get a lot more down in the southwest in the way of just community, and that sort of structure. Like, that is part short term, is to get that, gather that, whether it be a board or a community, to get something. Long terms, to make something out of that. Eventually, like, talking to bringing some form of fitness gathering, shows, competitions down there. So you can bridge that between short-term, long-term. Short-term goals for me are all about my clients, the ones who I've got, and to bring more on. Long-terms, to more grow as a business. Get a little bit more footing in amongst the IFBB, just learning from those guys and girls that are in there that are so knowledgeable, and they're already growing and expanding, but like communicating with them to lead me along the same sort of path, follow in their footsteps, learn the ins and outs, and grow to a point where this is just a great deal of work. I mean, like shit, I fly up north to get a break. No, no. Yeah, I don't know. Like in the way of, I don't have one specific thing. It's just growth here, and business and us. Yeah, like everything's trending really good. Here you go, long term. Hopefully not too long. Put this down to short term, actually, Mr. McGowan. Short term, be able to go back to America and see the family. Long term, to go to Europe with the IFBB. There you go. Bang! I finally hit it.
There you go.
So that's what we got for today, because we're not going to ramble on too much. We've just hit our half hour. And we've got a couple more saved that we will touch on, guys. For those that did comment and send me DMs, do find these through here. I will try to tag you in as we go. I'll post it up on YouTube, IG, and our Facebook page. And then from there, we'll look at doing another one next week.
Yep, and don't forget to hit like and
subscribe.
Leave a comment. What else? Make sure you give us a follow if you don't follow us on Instagram. Yeah, and stay tuned for
more to come.
More to come.
Thanks, guys. Much enjoyed the talk. Thanks for the cues.
Bye, guys.
Hope you enjoyed the A's.